Let's see. You believe unionizing hurts more than helps. I disagree thoroughly. I wasn't in a union when I was working at UPS, but I got to actually see unionizing versus not unionizing, like, pretty up close. Effectively, so we would actually eat lunch with a guy that worked at FedEx. And the guy that worked at FedEx was paid less. Like, I want to say 50% less than the guy I was working for. But, like, he had been working there for 3 years and was just downright, like, miserable. I think he had to work from, like, 4 a.m. till about, like, 11 p.m. on... And this is the Christmas season, so, you know, it might change a little bit. But, like, dude's job sucked. My driver, I think that Christmas season, that was what, Christmas 2015? I want to say he ended up making $150,000 because he was paid by the hour, but he was paid like a shit ton by the hour. Like, if you want a job that does not require a college degree, being a driver for UPS is a pain in the ass to get, but pays really well. The main problem is, if I remember right, internal politics suck. Because I've definitely heard, like, really bad things as well about different branches. The area I was in was really good, but other places not so much so. Take everything with a grain of salt. Unions can be absolutely awful too, depending on where you are. And actually even to the point where they're abusive or keeping people around that shouldn't. But so the FedEx guy got paid $60,000 to my driver's $150,000. And my driver voluntarily worked stupid late because he was making tons. FedEx guy, not so much so. The other thing was very specifically, I guess this is the bad story. There was a lady that had been with the union for a while. I game over to my... I really got to get some more spirit crystals, so I stopped doing that. But there was a lady that was shitty. She wouldn't deliver her packages very well, and more or less leaned on the fact that she was a union employee and not easily fired because she was one of the few female drivers in the area, and was not afraid to pull the, like, you can't fire me, that's discrimination card. Apparently, the union leaders were at least mildly on her side, and she kept her job despite the fact that she was a garbage UPS truck driver and would literally fling packages out the window. At least according to my driver. I'm not actually... I didn't see it myself, so I can't speak. And, like, I would rather have, like, one bad egg per 50, because you're gonna get those anyway. Union or not, that lady would have been awful. She just would have been more easily fired. But, like... My truck driver was a legitimately happy dude. And he wasn't, like, super stressed. Like, I've seen people that are, like, straight up corporate slaves. And are so miserable about it. And, like, depressed and going to mental health. Just so that they can go and work and whatever. And they're not happy. Not to mention, I really don't trust corporate policy. I don't trust big companies to, like, do right by the employees, because, like, we are too easily replaceable. And so, like, yeah, if people start, like, really causing a stink with Amazon, for example, Amazon will probably just fire everybody and just replace them with a bunch of other needy millennials or who knows what that, you know, don't have jobs. But you don't really have to dangle much of a carrot to actually get the desperate people to roll in, and there's a lot of desperate people out there. Why am I doing this? I have no idea. Let's see. How much do I have? I've got a fair bit. Let's go check my shrines. Shrines aren't doing good. We gotta get this selling bonus. Oof. Oof, I don't know if we need that much. Let's just get 10 for now. Animal feed for super poop. Yeah, probably. There's not a whole lot of animal feed. But, like, what's a good example of a corporation? Well, let's go with Riot Games. Seeing as we're talking about the games industry. So Riot Games is extremely abusive to its own employees. High crunch, sexual abuse, and uncooperative leaderships, and forced arbitration. For those of you that don't know what forced arbitration is, it's when you are... Instead of suing the company, you're contractually obligated to go to arbitration with the judge to sort out your issues before suing. Or you might not even be allowed to sue, actually. You might actually have to straight up Let's see. Let's increase my HP here, because I am dying. But so for Riot Games, a lot of those employees, if say, for example, their boss farts wetly in their face, and, you know, then proceeds to boob honk them. Okay, well, you can't sue them for sexual harassment. You have to go to forced arbitrations with them. What does that mean? You go in front of a judge and you try and, like, meet out your differences. I lose the script on this one a little bit because it varies. But you can't, like, collectively sue, and more or less, Riot Games, which has a lot more money than you, more or less just, like, stonewalls you until you can't, you know, you can't sue any longer, at which point they de facto win. And then they just get off, like, scot-free. There was that big walkout recently. And who knows, maybe a lot of those people will remain gainfully employed at Riot Games, but I'm pretty sure they're on some kind of internal HR list at this point that is going to now track them a little bit, and then probably let them go at some point in the next, like, couple of years and stuff. And, like, no matter how much people love that studio, like, what they're doing is overtly wrong and very anti-employee. And it doesn't matter, like, how many people, like, try and cycle in and out. There's going to be a ton of people that go into Riot Games thinking it's going to be this awesome work environment. And effectively, no matter what, until the company straight up stops making money from League of Legends, they can do whatever the hell they want to their employees and more or less get away with it. And, like, do I think a union would solve that? No, actually, it would probably get them all fired. But the problem is, like, eventually these studios are actually going to start crumbling under their own weight. Let's get another excavator and merchant. There we go. Okay, and that should seal the deal on $1 million here. I mean, we've seen it time and time again. You've got companies like BioWare that quickly give in to major investors that switch over from these really promising studios that do good work and make great games to being kind of soulless husks that, like, nobody cares about anymore. I mean, people still love Blizzard, and I don't blame them, but, like, it's definitely not the studio that it used to be. Nope, we're at the halfway point. Dang it. We're getting there, but we're not there yet. I gotta get that, I gotta get a lot of things. We might as well start working on... I've been digging up a whole lot of sand. I actually have no idea. But yeah, so, like, Activision is straight up switched over to being kind of this weird corporate overlord. And for the most part, like, people don't really trust them anymore, and it sucks. And so, like, I'm not gonna say, like, having a union would solve that problem. Because, yeah, it could still go corrupt and bad and whatever. But it'd be at least less likely to immediately go off the deep end the moment, like, employees... Well, I guess that's an easy example. Blizzard did actually just fire, like, a shit ton of people under restructuring. And I would not be surprised if in the next couple of years, yeah, people just start losing interest in Blizzard altogether unless they can start turning it around. I mean, WoW Classic is nice, but I certainly wasn't that interested in Battle for Azeroth. Overwatch is good. I do not care about Hearthstone anymore, and maybe, you know, I'm not a good example for these things because these are not games aimed at me to begin with, but, like, it's certainly not the company I grew up with. How's Zynga doing nowadays? I wonder about that. Oh, I can just kill these things. Sweet. That makes my life easier. Okay, what do we get? Yeah, more spirit orbs. Perfect. Okay, so let's just keep increasing my HP. I don't need to level up anymore. I'm at half a million, which is good. How do we make the other half? I mean, easy answer, probably maybe make... I was hoping I'd get more plastic out of this, but I guess it didn't. Bombs. We should probably look into bombs. Let's get a cauldron down. But yeah, so know if unions would necessarily be immediately good for the games industry, but I think it'll be necessary for it to survive, at least AAA to survive, outside of certain studios. Ish? Like, I think we're actually... I think what'll happen is a lot of the big studios are just gonna start crumbling under their own weight, and it's not gonna be pretty. Whereas, like... Well, okay, let's go back to this. Another easy example would be BioWare. You know, they've had some serious brain drain over the years. And some amount of that is the major leadership is leaving. Oh, right, we need a cauldron. There we go. That's what I was looking for. And, you know, a lot of the original, like, developers... Oh, that's a decent amount of bombs. Looks like the major limitation currently is iron. So let's go make some more. But, like, EA is very quickly switching over... EA? No, BioWare. Well, they're both. They're switching over to these, like, very mismanaged and junior companies that are working their people to the bone and losing a lot of their really, like, high-end skilled developers in favor of a bunch of people that kind of know what they're doing, but I'm gonna say, like, not as much as they should. You know, it's a lot of people that... wasn't there, like, specifically for... It was for Mass Effect Andromeda. We had like a number of people that were straight up like lead 3D modelers or something like that. And they had never worked in the industry before. Or they'd like maybe worked on a couple of things. And like those aren't the people that you want on the leadership positions. And admittedly, like, a lot of people went after them and blaming them for why the face was bad. But, like, that's still not a good sign. Unless, of course, they were lying on their resume, which is also entirely possible. But generally, when making or developing a game, you don't want to see, like, you know, this is the first game I've made, but I'm the one of the, like, lead techs on this. And it's like, ooh, that's scary. Not to mention, well, here's another one. EA again. Was it EA Mom? Or was it Activision? God, I don't even remember. But there was like a mother, a wife. Oh, EA wife, was it? Where she hadn't seen her husband for the entire development of like Mirror's Edge or something ridiculous like that. And these people were working like 80, 100-hour weeks. And more or less had no choice but to do so. And I know Rockstar most recently was saying like, well, it wasn't enforced and most people didn't crunch, but like you knew it was, everyone knew it was crunch and it was bad. And like no one should be worked involuntarily or quote unquote voluntarily more than 50 hours. And even then, like historically most people don't work better than like 30 hours a week is like the maximum amount of productive time most people do. Unless they're like really passionate about it or really desperate. Most people absolutely like give up actually being good at whatever their job is and start browsing the internet just listlessly. They usually give up after, you know, the fourth, fifth hour of the day, and you know, they quickly slow down. And yeah, if you're working them for 80 hours a week, they actually just stop being good. Like, you actually would be better off probably having a bunch of underqualified people working 30 hours a week than a bunch of overqualified people working 100 hours a week. Maybe. I don't know. That might be the most insubstantiated thing I've said all day. But, like, it is not a defensible fact to say that, yeah, work your people that much. It'll turn out fine. No, you lose a lot of people, especially if you then fire them immediately afterwards. That's the other, like, kind of really sad reality with a lot of these development studios is as soon as the crunch time's over, as soon as the game's out, they just boot everybody out. They're like, alright, thanks, we'll see you guys next time. Maybe. Good luck. That's no good. Because, QA, the one part of the industry that honestly gets a lot of shit for probably what it doesn't deserve, but like almost every project in the games industry has like a whole bunch of people working in the working on QA, and almost after every single game, everybody that's in QA gets fired, at least until the next game needs them again. So you have this like weird itinerant QA team that just like exists in LA, which is awful. And like you don't want to do that, because then you end up with like a bunch of just like disillusioned people that aren't doing a good job. And it also creates a workplace habit. Well, you don't want to keep bringing in new people too. One other like proven fact of crunch is a lot of developers like to hire a whole bunch of new people to help. I think that's what happened specifically with Duke Nukem Forever, that they hired just a shit ton of new people to finish it off. Gearbox did. And like nobody knew what was going on and nobody knew how to do it well, and I think it turned out really poorly. Was it Duke Nukem Forever? Oh, God damn. I gotta go back and double check that one. But there have been several games over the years where like they go into crunch mode and then suddenly hire a bunch of people that don't know what they're doing, and like it takes longer to train a new person and bring them up to speed than you would think when it comes especially to coding, because not everybody's used to the code structure, the culture, or anything. Okay, so I do get gems of the sort all over the place. But like there have been multiple major game releases that got flubbed really hard because they effectively thought it would be a brilliant idea to just bring on like 50 new people when they realized they weren't going to get the deadline in time, and it actually made things worse, not better. And that's the sort of thing that like, yeah, unionization might not necessarily immediately stop, but it would certainly like forestall some of it. And if the union ends up being bad for the company, then chances are the entire company is going to fold anyway. But there's a lot of reasons why like it's this dumb mess, and I don't think unionization is going to help that much. But like, I think unless game developers actually really start getting some amount of like, I'm not going to say recognition or benefits, but we're going to end up with these like really, really bloated AAA companies that straight up like can't sustain themselves financially or quality-wise, and yeah, resort to a lot of games as a service stuff because that's the only way that they can actually sustain themselves. Because the alternative is crumbling. I should probably go upgrade the, so do I want Builder? Let's grab Scholar. I might be able to use some of that. Okay, did I finish making those bombs? Perfect. Can I get Wisdom? No. Liquid Luck? No, that's not what I want. Is that... I need the next level one. Do I? No, I haven't leveled up anytime recently. That sucks. But yeah, anyway, the other reason why unionization is kind of important is just because, like, yeah, otherwise you end up with a bunch of CEOs that pay themselves, like, stupid shit tons of money and think it's okay to pay their people peanuts and then put the bathrooms on the other side of the warehouse. Like, I don't like Amazon that much, but I love Amazon. It's dumb. On one hand, they're making a lot of, like, cool progress in the industry. On the other hand, like, their workplace treatment of people is atrocious. And yeah, you'd bet that if they weren't trying to, like, smash out their competition and a bunch of other things... Well, actually, yeah, I mean, even that, I've, to go back to the UPS thing, there was a guy, we didn't get to see him for very long because he didn't stick around, but there was a guy running Amazon deliveries, because the year that I was working at UPS was the year that Amazon rolled out its own delivery service, that they stopped just using... How much do these sell for? 250 a pop. That's not bad. Can I make more? I guess we should probably get some liquid luck first, which means I gotta go get some bottles. Oh, that'll do it. Let's see. But Amazon rolled out its own delivery trucks, and good lord, like, I saw some of them delivering. It was bad. Because these are, like, the people that, I'm gonna say fly by night, no qualifications, effectively, it's just, like, I guess it's, like, the worst showing of Uber drivers. Like, if you guys ever taken a Lyft and the driver was terrible, they drove bad, or, you know, the car smelled horribly, or, you know, they showed up late or missed it or whatever. I've gotten lucky, but I've only ever taken a couple of Ubers. The worst I had was a dude that was actually speeding, which was, like, not okay. But, oh well, compared to some of the horror stories I've heard out there. But, like, a lot of the drivers that I ran into for Amazon straight up were people that, like, had no qualifications. They just had a car big enough, or rented a truck big enough to do the deliveries, and Amazon didn't vet them at all. They didn't have any kind of, like, limitations or anything like that. And so you ended up with, yeah, a lot of very poorly delivered packages, and that's kind of in our future. And they think that's okay, because there's no one to stop them, and no one to say, like, you know, that's bad, except for the consumers who... Amazon's just like, oh, you didn't get your package. Well, here's another one, because they can afford it, because they're cutting so many costs and making so much money. I don't think that's okay. I think it's probably best that we get everything done right the first time. Kind of like how, oh, another thing, like, freaking planned obsolescence. I realize that has nothing to do with this whole thing, but, like, oh god. I absolutely hate the fact that, like, my phone has, like, an intentional shelf life on it. That's not great. 50-year-old Lyft driver was asking your sister questions once. I'm assuming those were the salacious variety, and that is not okay. Let's see. It's considered part of the Mythical Man Month, bringing on new people in a software engineering project. Central theme is that adding manpower to a late software project makes it later. Yeah, okay. Yeah, so the problem is, like, to some degree I do have to talk out of my ass for this sort of thing, and I realize that that's, like, kind of a... I hate it when people, like, accuse me of that, but I do have to admit that, like, I really don't know what I'm talking about beyond, like, what I've read on the internet. And all I can do is just parrot some of these things. And form my own opinions, whatever they may be. Let's see, let's go dexterous, just because freaking I can't dig these out. They've already been dug there. Let's see, and yeah, there are absolutely, like, products that, yeah, are going to break down on me eventually. But I don't want a company saying, like, yeah, let's make it so that this gets shittier and make it out of shitty, let's make things out of shitty parts with, like, programming that's more or less designed to die in a couple of years. Like, I really do not want a phone that's only supposed to last for X, let's see, how long? I don't know. I mean, most of my phones last about 3 or 4 years. But, like, they could probably be designed to last a little bit longer. But it's not worth it for the phone companies to do so. I guess not exactly in the same vein, but, like, apparently if you want to recycle an Apple iPod, not iPad, the AirBuds. AirBuds? So whatever the headphones are, I refuse to buy most Apple products. I've got an iPad because I need it for business stuff, because there isn't a good comparable thing. Except for the Microsoft Surface, which I might actually switch over to next time. Maybe. But like to AirPods, there we go. To recycle those, you actually have to go through Apple. You can't just recycle them wherever. Which, like, that's sketchy. I don't like that. I don't even know. And I don't even think they're, like, designed to last that long. They certainly don't look durable. Yeah, AirPods, Wander. Yeah. But, like, a lot of these phone companies are especially, like, Apple, for example, are capitalizing on the fact that they have such a valuable brand that people will go out and buy the newest iPhone XYZ every year because they have to have it. And so, yeah, they can kind of encourage people to do so by making it so that the phones get slower. So, like, you kind of have to do that anyway. And it sucks. Like, if I buy something, I kind of want it to last for a while. instead of me having to replace it every couple of years. Like, I don't know, I had a TV that lasted for near on 10 years. That was nice. Probably should have replaced it a lot sooner, but then a capacitor blew in. AirPods are $400 for like a year just to have wire. You mean wireless? Ugh. Yeah, that doesn't sound fun. I mean, like, to some degree, it would be kind of nice to not have to worry about wireless or wires, but like, God, that is exceedingly expensive for no good reason. And then, yeah, of course, if your iPhone breaks, I think you're only allowed to get it repaired with an Apple store, if I'm not mistaken, which, like, that's not great. I should build another cauldron. That one's not going to be done for forever. I'm just going to see if I can get a greed potion. Greedy mixture. We need bottled torch bugs. Well, can't do that. Let's make some liquid lux first. I've got the feed. You should go get the poop. Yeah, I just keep getting distracted. I couldn't see a pig anywhere nearby. I don't even have a lighthouse, and this is still a shit ton of poop. Interesting. I'm curious what the logic on some of these things are. Well, one way or another, liquid lux certainly increases the amount of poop that I get out of this guy, and it's dead. Well, farewell, Porkenstein. You were pooplicious. What was I gonna make with this? I don't remember what else I was gonna make, but we could make a bunch of landfills. Maybe. And there's a law bill in one of the states that was right to repair. It was over tractors, but it would affect all companies. Apple and some other companies fought against it and got it crushed. That sucks. Because, like, you should absolutely be able to take something to not the main company to get it fixed. Because, like, you should always have a right to a second opinion on anything. Otherwise, it's not the free market. I mean, I personally don't like saying free market on anything, because that is like a weird can of worms, but it is... I guess when the free market is no longer actually free, it's just like, well, what's even the point of calling it free market? Let's get that druid sword going, just because. So we got the liquid luck going. I'm just waiting for... I'm just waiting for the money booster to roll back around. Let's see, turn in the poo quest. Oh, that's what I needed it for. Admittedly, I'm not actually sure if I need it. He just gives me a treasure chest. So there's that. Yeah, the whole right to repair thing, that's definitely one of those where it's like, I really don't trust corporate overlords to act in my best interest, because they're always going to act in their own best interest, always. And that's never going to change. Obviously, if companies actually acted morally and, you know, weren't constantly kind of trying to screw people over to make extra money, I'd be fine with that. But, like, historically, they never seem to. And so I don't trust them. That is a lot. Do we? Yeah, screw it. Let's just do it. I mean, we're almost done. This will just solve my problems-ish. Make more iron. There we go. I really wish scroll buffs would actually show up there. Anyway, so I've got the builder perk for at least a little bit. Gonna make me some of these. Well, if the royal steel comes quick. I just got a double item, so that'll be nice. Build magical shrine. I think we might be out of bricks. Dexterous. And merchant, there we go. Okay, let's get a greedy, nope. No greedy mixture yet. See if I can get one quick. Any other torch bugs around here? Torch bug. Torch bug. Torch bug, torch bug. Okay, there's 5. Perfect. Okay. So let's get to greedy mixture. We have the market thing. And then we're going to... Let's see. At the market. I guess I might as well gain some HP here. Take this. Okay, so we've got the greedy mixture. That should work. Okay, so now coins are worth more. Let's sell all these bombs. Sell all these gems. Oh, wow, those bombs were worth a buttload. Yeah, note to self. Bombs. Yep, and there we go. Million. It took me... a lot longer than I intended on this challenge. But that's okay. Yeah, how long did it take me? 5.5 hours. That's actually not bad. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. For not getting markets, not using lighthouses, and not using shrine cheese. Like those aren't bad, all things considered. That wasn't a bad challenge, all things considered. I'm probably going to delete my original challenge, I think, first, because I broke some of the side quests and I can't complete it. Because we could try and actually... What do you guys think? Should we try and do all no holds barred, race to 1,000,000, lighthouses, shrine cheese, and every associated thing? Because we could do that.